This is SHRM Global Radio in partnership with Timber Media, Podcasters for India Inc.
Welcome to SHRM Global Radio, everybody. Ahalya here, keeping you company on our podcast series where we, as you know, discuss workplace and workforce trends that are shaping the future. And we also examine the zeitgeist to understand what is making the HR world go around. But there is a catch, a gap even. The silent ones may and often do go unnoticed, or worse, remain unheralded. So are we getting a truly holistic picture of the HR landscape? In most workplaces today, success is associated with visibility, or at the very least, has a volume setting. The louder you are, the more likely you are to be noticed. The ones who speak up in meetings, lead presentations, or are active on social media platforms tend to be noticed and rewarded. But what about individuals who quietly excel without drawing attention to themselves? Within every organization, there exists a group of employees who quietly deliver exceptional value. Every successful company has individuals who consistently deliver results without asking for applause. They're not showy. They don't circle back on email threads with capital letters and exclamation marks. They just get things done quietly, reliably, and if you're lucky, even exceptionally. We call this phenomenon quiet growth, and it might be your organization's most underrated asset. So today we're turning the spotlight, gently of course, fear not all ye introverts, on the people who usually avoid it. We'll explore who they are, why they matter, and what leaders and HR can do to support their growth without turning them into someone they're not. Quiet contributors often lead to big impact. Under the radar talent refers to those colleagues who work hard, think deep, and rarely announce it. They're the engineers who fix bugs no one saw coming, the analysts who quietly improve a process and save a fortune, the team player who always steps in to help but never steps up to take credit. They're introverted, focused, or just simply allergic to self-promotion, and that's okay. Their work may not be front and center at the all-hands meeting, but you'd notice the difference if they weren't around. When that spreadsheet breaks or the code doesn't deploy, they're your first call, so you know who we're talking about. Quiet growth doesn't mean a lack of ambition. It just follows a different rhythm. Less trumpet fanfare, more jazz. And if you think that they're just too quiet to count, think again. In many organizations, visibility gets confused with value. If you're speaking in every meeting, you must be contributing. If you're not, are you even trying? It's an easy trap. But here's why under the radar talent often gets missed. First up, visibility bias. We tend to equate confidence with competence. Spoiler, that's not always the case. Another big problem, performance reviews. If you don't self-promote or aren't top of mind for your manager, good luck standing out during the annual review season. And third, fast-paced culture. In high-speed environments, quiet often gets mistaken for disengaged. Meanwhile, these folks are usually 3 tabs deep into solving a problem the rest of us haven't even realized yet. So yes, it's not that they're invisible. We're just not always looking in the right places. So how do you find the quiet gems on your team without asking them to rebrand themselves as extroverts? Try these steps and you might surprise yourself with what you find. First, peer feedback. You'd be surprised how often a team knows who the real MVP is. Managers just need to ask the right questions. Or try digital footprints. Look at version histories, collaboration tools, or revision logs. The quiet ones may be the ones doing much of the heavy lifting behind the scenes. And it's also important to train your managers. Not everyone shines under the spotlight and a microphone. Help leaders notice the less obvious forms of contribution. And finally, growth mindset cues. People who are willing to learn, mentor others, or take quiet initiative are showing you where their potential is without yelling it. You don't need a megaphone to make a mark. Sometimes all it takes is a reliable Wi-Fi connection and a well-named spreadsheet. Not every employee wants to lead a town hall. Some would rather run an entire department than present for 5 minutes. And that is not a weakness. It's just a different style of leadership. If you want these team members to thrive, try some new ways of engaging with them. recognize their efforts privately. A thoughtful note or one-on-one praise can go a lot further than a standing ovation, especially if the standing ovation gives them anxiety. Offer backstage leadership. Let them lead R&D, internal projects, or mentoring programs where impact matters more than visibility. Play to their strengths. Maybe they're strategic thinkers, brilliant coders, or amazing with documentation. Help them lead from where they shine. And finally, build peer groups. Quiet folks often pop up in smaller circles. Give them safe spaces to connect and share their ideas. The goal isn't to make introverts louder. It's to make space for all kinds of growth, including the kind you don't hear coming. Inclusion isn't just about who gets a seat at the table. It's about who gets noticed, heard, and valued once they're there. True inclusivity means recognizing that people contribute in different ways. Some energize a room, others stabilize it. Some lead from the front, others lead from the middle or the back with a whiteboard marker and a backup plan. Quiet growth is slow, deliberate, and remarkably effective. But it only thrives in cultures that value more than just volume. That means rethinking how we measure impact, how we define leadership, and how we design our recognition systems. You've heard the adage, different strokes for different folks. Well, that is good advice and a great guideline for managers. There's no one-size-fits-all model for brilliance. Some people impress with presentations, others with precision, some dazzle with ideas, others with quiet execution. The smartest organizations are the ones that design for both. When we learn how to identify, support, and develop under-the-radar talent, we don't just improve performance. We build stronger, more resilient teams. We create space for innovation that doesn't rely on who talks the most. Food for thought, isn't it? Well, hop back onto our podcast series next month for some more of that. But in the meantime, stay safe and stay happy. That's a wrap on this episode of SHRM Global Radio. I'll catch you on the next one.
This is SHRM Global Radio in partnership with Timber Media, Podcasters for India, Inc.